The objective of this lesson is to use evidence to investigate questions. It is important to know how to use online resources when you are investigating questions and providing evidence for those questions. This lesson will demonstrate how to use different resources you can find online. Our standard for today is create. 1. Learners engage with new knowledge by following a process that includes using evidence to investigate questions. The discussion question for today is, how can you use online resources to answer questions? Well, these questions could be questions you have. They could be questions that are part of a research assignment. They could be something that you and your friends thought about at lunchtime. So the first few resources I want to show you are very similar to an informational text or a nonfiction book you might pick up at the library, something in the classroom, or even something that's similar to your textbook. We have the State Park website, we have a World Atlas website, the World of Wildlife. All of these resources, if you click on them, have photographs and then paragraphs that go with them. So you'll see some similar text features. These are real photographs. What's nice about it being online is that you can click on it. It makes it a little bit bigger. In this case, you have a variety of photographs, so that's nice. And here, it looks like this is a video. If you were to click on it, it would show you what it's like to be at the state park. And then if you scroll down, you have some headings or subtitles. You have these vocabulary words that are hyperlinked, so if you click on it, it'll take you somewhere else to give you information, in this case about hiking, biking, and equestrian trails. Nature Rocks is another website that if you click on, this one is actually really cool because it has a really brief paragraph, and then it kind of tells you what this map does. It's not a kind of static or just kind of plain map. Yes, these places are accurate, but if you click on them, it'll show you nature-based activities and events, green spaces, and parks near you. So if you were to click on these sections, it would show you things to do that have to do with nature in Texas. So it's very interactive. So you have these informational sites that give you some information and also kind of give you, if you click on it, a certain hyperlink, it takes you to more information and kind of gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Aside from these websites, I wanted to show you that I've included some animated information videos. So we have the Brain Pop Jr. and the Wild Kratts. Even though they're animated, so sometimes they look like cartoons, and cartoons typically tell stories. In this case, the purpose of animating them is they include facts. So they'll give you real information about something. If we were just to click on the Statue of Liberty, it's less than 5 minutes. It's 4 minutes, 41 seconds. And if we just click on it, we'll see what happens.
Behold, it's the Statue of Liberty. What is the Statue of Liberty? A monument is a statue, building, or place that honors a person, event, or idea.
Okay, so in less than 30 seconds, we already know the question that's going to guide this little video, and they give you some really nice vocabulary. They say it pretty slowly. And so these videos, even though they're using cartoons and some sound effects, the purpose is to just give you information. So if you wanted to do a research project on the Statue of Liberty, this would be a great video to use. Something I didn't mention earlier, and I'll go back to the Padlet, is that it says Free Stuff Brain Pop Jr. Sometimes certain Brain Pop videos do need a login, and it depends on if our school has the account or not. So if you stay on the Free Stuff section, you have access to those videos without having to put in any passwords or any type of information. Wild Kratts is similar because it gives you animated videos on animals. So this is also a great, quick, a few small segments that'll give you some information if you're investigating certain features or habitats and regions. Okay, so moving away from videos, I wanted to show you this Google Arts and Culture. So this website can kind of feel like you're traveling, even though you're in the classroom, just sitting during a certain class period. So here it says 9 virtual tours of Shakespearean spots. So if you were doing something on Shakespeare and his life and where he was, this would be a really great website to go to. And if you notice, I'm just scrolling down. These are photographs, but then there's this little person here. And I'm just going to keep scrolling. After each photograph, there's some text, so it gives you a little bit of information. So it feels like you're going on a tour, even though you might be, sitting in your classroom, nowhere near that place. So this is Verona, it says. It says Juliet's Balcony, Verona. So if I just click on this person, I want to show you what happens. So now it kind of feels like you're there. Not exactly, of course, you don't hear the people, you're not standing, but if you click on it and move your hand, so you'll need both fingers, and you just kind of keep moving around, it's like you're kind of standing there. You can see like some of the brick, these windows, these, let's see, here's these arches, all these people, looks like we're standing in the wrong direction. I don't know, let's see if we can figure out what they're looking at. They're taking some pictures of something that seems pretty awesome. So maybe we can just follow their camera and try to determine. So here, yes, well here it is. So this is Juliet's Balcony from Romeo and Juliet. So this is a really great resource for more of your observational evidence in terms of how big maybe the audience would have been for the plays that Shakespeare wrote and performed. So this is really cool. And let me just scroll up a little bit. I'm going to go back to home. There are other places as well that you can look at. You have some stories. You have other places you can go to. So if you wanted to search about people, you could also do that as well. So this is a really different type of resource. Let's see. And then one of the last ones, before I show you Google Docs, podcasts are really great for interviews. I especially like this podcast. It has a little girl named Eva Cartman. Just get rid of the advertisement. And she is actually interviewing these people. She'll interview people who have made some really great contributions or who have done something that has made them famous. Maybe we don't know them all, but that's okay. So for example, here she had Chris Hadfield. He is a Canadian astronaut. So the great thing about a podcast is really that format is really familiar. She asks questions and they answer. So it's just kind of goes back and forth, and you learn a lot about the person who's talking. So in this case, you're not watching anything, you're just listening. So this really requires some good listening skills and knowing that if you really like what they have to say, you might want to pause and just write it down. Now, in terms of writing down all of your evidence, Google Docs is the last resource I want to show you. You would have a Google Doc document. I would give you a login and a password that you'll use throughout your entire time in the school district. And this is where you would collect all of your evidence and all of your questions as you've used these resources to determine answers to questions you have or the questions that someone has asked you. So these resources are important because this is a skill you're going to use throughout all of your education for information purposes, but then for stuff you want to do as well. So not everything that you want to look for is going to be in a book. It's also not going to be in a place that is easy for you to find. Sometimes it takes a couple of clicks to get somewhere. Some of the videos are really helpful because it's not just a paragraph that you're reading. It's presented in a different way. If you notice, the majority of the stuff we looked at has some really clear photographs. So it really kind of helps you see things differently. It's not just vocabulary. These resources can also be really exciting, and they keep you interested when they use some of the, the sound effects and when they have some guiding questions at the beginning. And so that also can be helpful, especially if you've gotten a lot of information and you just kind of want a general overview. The Brain Pop Junior videos can be really helpful for that. And in addition to reading a lot, these resources are also helpful because they require that you use your observational and listening skills. So as you're working on something and you're watching a video on it, you might have more questions based on what you saw in the video. Why did they include, the Brave Pop Junior video? We see a French flag at the very beginning. Well, why is that French flag there? With the podcast, there might be another question you have in addition to what Eva is asking. So these resources are really helpful because you'll get a lot of information and you'll learn how to put it in this unique place with Google Docs. And you'll also learn to keep your evidence as part of your Google Docs. So if you find something in BrainPop Junior, when you answer that question, you will probably write, I found this in BrainPop Junior. So this is a good way to start tracking where you have found your evidence and knowing that your evidence isn't just going to come from one paragraph somewhere, or it's not going to come from a certain chapter. It can come through clicking through several links. If you want to go hiking in Palo Duro, you might click on the state park website and then click on the hyperlink. So it'll take some general reading and then just kind of continuing to look through the sites to determine what evidence you're looking for when you have your questions. And then, of course, keeping it in Google Docs is great because your documents do not get erased. They stay in your Google Drive until you decide to erase them. And so as you add, all of that information stays there. And this will be helpful from now until you stop researching and you stop asking questions, which hopefully you never do.